Here this evening, our candidates will have the opportunity for some final comments, but we do have a couple of questions from the audience. And Bob, you will receive this question first, since Doug had the opportunity for the previous question. And this comes from somebody in our audience here tonight. Where do you stand regarding allowing new businesses into town that will directly compete with established existing businesses?
That's similar to one of the questions that we asked earlier, and again, I firmly believe that a business, that a good, solid business is going to be able to compete. And because of the fact that they're going to be able to compete, having somebody new come into town, in and of itself should not be a big fearful thing. Again, as a business owner, one of the things that I know is that you can oftentimes open up several of the same type of business, and just because there's more, you're cutting the pie, but just everyone has enough, if they compete wisely and well, that they can still survive and prosper. And I believe that we have the ability to prosper if that's what we should, if that's what the different businesses involved should actually want to do.
Mayor Doug Schmitz?
You know, that's a hard question. I mean, I think competition is good to a point, but we really truly need to make sure we look after our businesses that we now have in town as much as we can. But yet, on the flip side of that, I mean, if another business is willing to relocate here or build new here, and they meet all our ordinances, all our codes, you know, I truly believe that we really need to walk a fine line of, do we let them in, don't we let them in? You know, do we want to set the tone that, you know, Cold Spring is a hard city for businesses to come in and try to start up a business? So I think we need to just make sure that when we make the decisions, we make sure that our decisions are made based on what the public wants and also what we think would be the betterment for Cold Spring. Thanks.
Bob Thelen, you've got 30 seconds for a rebuttal if you would like.
Thank you. All I really want to say is, remember please, Cold Spring is open for business. The city government should not be in the business of it being involved in private enterprise. We do need to do certain things as far as water control and those kinds of things, but we should not be involved in private enterprise. That's the business's responsibility. So again, what I'm saying is Cold Spring is open for business. We should invite them in.
Another question from our audience here. Do you feel the city should get involved to help relocate Cold Spring Co-op to a more suitable location? And I believe, Mayor Doug Schmitz, you have the first chance at this question.
We've had this discussion many times at the city level, and I truly would love to see the city try to work something out where, I mean, if it's moving them up to the business park and giving them a break on property up there on land prices, tax abatement to try to entice them to move. I mean, I think it's with the chemicals and stuff that are in town, and with, you know, with the tractors and with everything else that's moving through town, I don't think that is what is a good vision for our downtown. In the days when the town was, you know, first incorporated, yeah, that was the thing. But I would truly like to see it move out of city limits.
Councilman Bob Thelen?
First of all, I do not like the idea of having the co-op move outside the city limits. Businesses that are inside the city of Cold Spring, we should do all we can to make sure that they stay in the city of Cold Spring. That is part of our tax base, so we need to do all we can to preserve that. Do I think we should provide them with some incentives so that we can move them to a location that perhaps is more conducive to their style and their type of business? Yes, I do believe that. There are many reasons to use government incentives, and that might be very well one of those reasons. So yes, I would like to see some incentives. I would like to see the co-op be given some incentives to move to a more conducive area, but I would not like to see the co-op be moved out of the city of Cold Spring.
Mayor Doug Schmitz, you have a rebuttal if you'd like.
Yes, and I just want to be clear that I don't want them to move out of city limits. I made the statement that I'd like to see them move up into the business park. It's a it's an industrial park up there. That's where I'd like to see. I definitely would like to see them stay in the city's tax base. So I just want to make that clear that I don't want them moving out of city limits. I just would like to see them move up into our business park.
Another question here, it's a combination of the fact that both of you have served on the city council, and part of another question that comes from our audience here. Since each of you are currently serving on the city council, please note one accomplishment that you are most proud of, and then also, along with that question, do you feel a one-term councilman qualifies to be mayor? And I believe, Bob Thelen, you would have the first opportunity to answer that question.
Thank you. The first part of that question, give an example of one of my accomplishments that I'm proud of. One of the things is I believe in the one term that I've been on the council, we've done a lot to open up city government. We've exposed some conflicts of interest and some other things that have come up, that have perhaps been going on for some period of time. But we've been able to open up city government and make it more user-friendly, and I think that's an important first step. Does the fact that I've only been on the council for 1 year, does that make it so that somebody is qualified or unqualified? I don't know that, and the number of terms that a person serves has much of any relevance on whether or not a person is qualified to serve as mayor. I think more we need to take a look at their abilities, including such things as their abilities to understand more difficult concepts in financial matters, their ability to communicate in some of those kinds of things. So I'm not sure that it matters a whole lot whether or not one has one term on the city council or not.
Mayor Doug Schmitz, your reaction to the question.
I guess one of the things I'm the most proud of, and it just happened this past summer, as we all know, we got the bombshell dropped on us on a Wednesday that Snyder Drugs was moving town, and it took a matter of hours, and the whole town was in an uproar. A lot of the elderly people were kind of struggling and trying to figure out how are we going to get our medications now? How are we, and the Assumption Home was talking, where are we going to get our medication? I don't want to drive out of city limits, so we heard all those things, and I had the pleasure of meeting with Thrifty White executives on a Friday morning and spent the better part of all day Friday talking to them, and we looked at where they were located temporarily across the street. They made some phone calls, and normally it takes 3 to 4 months to get a pharmacy license, and myself and Larry Lahr went down to St. Paul that following Monday to testify in front of the pharmacy board. And when we left that meeting after we testified, that we were assured that they were going to be giving a license that day. So where it normally took 3 to 4 months, we had it done in a week, and I think I'm very proud of that happening, and I think that was great for the city, because that not only keeps people, the people could get their medicines, but it's just streamlined, because if people are going to go out of town to get their medicine, well, they're going to stop at a gas station out of town. They're going to stop at a hardware store out of town. They're going to stop to eat out of town. So by keeping that drugstore here, we kept all those people in town supporting our local businesses. Thank you.
Councilman Thelen, do you have a 30-second rebuttal?
I'm going to pass. Thank you.
Okay. And another question from our audience.